Lloyd, BBC Radio Leeds, whenever you're ready, mate.
Thanks, Raj. Tom, good to see you again. I guess a few days on, how are you and the rest of your teammates feeling, reflecting on that game at Southampton?
Yeah, a few days on, we've took all the positives from it. We obviously very frustrated and disappointed straight away after the game, but we've come away with nothing. But there are positives that we can take, but we need to win games, and that's where we're at this moment of the season. But yeah, I think we're feeling more positive than a normal defeat.
It must take still a while to look at those positives because, as you say, you have ultimately lost the game. But what positives, Tom, have you and the rest of the guys picked out?
Well, I think for 75% of the game, 80% of the game, I thought we were a far better team. And against one of the best teams in the division, I thought we were comfortable. And I thought we played really well. One of our best performances this season. And then in a spell of probably 10 minutes or so, everything that could drop the wrong way or ricochet or deflect the wrong way did. And yeah, it's cost us the points. Like I said, we're not getting away from the fact that we've lost the game, but like you mentioned before, after those 48 hours or so, that's what we've now got to take from it, those positive moments.
Despite the defeat at the weekend, we've seen the two performances under Jon, and you've looked like a different team, Tom, really, haven't you, over the last two games? In your eyes, as one of the senior players in that squad, what has changed?
I just think the way that we're probably set up, the style that we're looking to play, and the way that we've attacked the game and approached the game has been evidently quite different. And I think it's put teams under pressure, higher up the pitch, nearer towards their own goal. When we regain the ball, we're closer to then go and start an attack. And we've just played more on the front foot, I think. And on Saturday we played against one of the best teams at playing out under pressure. And I thought we took the ball from multiple times. And yeah, it makes your defending another 30, 40 yards up away from your own goal. So yeah, I think there's quite a stark contrast in the way that we're playing now.
I know obviously with the plaudits you've got over the last couple of games, it will make it more enjoyable. But are you enjoying playing in this system, Tom?
Yeah, definitely. I'm enjoying it, and I think they've been good games, and you're bound to enjoy it more when you're playing well as a team. And I think we have played well in the two games. But like I said, it is about the points. You can't enjoy it if you're not getting points, especially for where we are in the table and the time of the season. So yeah, I'll enjoy it more if we can get a couple of wins under our belt in the upcoming games.
How has it been then from your point of view working under Jon?
I've really enjoyed it. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. No, what's the word? No. Sugar coating anything, or yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Tells you how it is, a couple of clear messages, and we just go from there. And I think the way that he wants to play, I think it suits the players that we've got. If I'm being honest, it's quite similar in some ways to without the ball, the way that we played with Neil Warnock in some ways. So yeah, we're used to that, and probably having that experience a couple of months before that has helped us adapt to the way that Worthy wants us to play.
For you, as one of the more senior players in the side, Tom, has he given you any specific messages?
I wouldn't say individually. It's just my tactical things for each game, really, and where he wants me positioned. We've obviously floated between a back three and a back four, so there's that to deal with. Where I've played in those various lineups, because it seems to be changing. Yeah, nothing that I'd say is out of the ordinary. Just been very clear and very direct on what he wants, and that's good. And he's really good to work for. So everybody's, well, I'm very eager to do well for him, because when somebody's a good person, you want to really try and do well for them and give them everything.
And during this period that the club's going through, looking for a permanent manager, if a situation arose where Jon was given the job till the end of the season, would you and your teammates be happy with that?
It's probably not for me to really comment on that sort of stuff. Like, I would have absolutely no issue with him doing that, but obviously it's up to the club, isn't it? They've got their own plans of what they want going forward, so we've just got to trust in that. What I will say is I really enjoyed these 2 weeks working with him, and yeah, it's been really good, and I think we're just taking it as, look, we need to get some wins ASAP, so that's just what we're focused on really, and I'll leave it up to the club to decide what they want to do, and yeah, we go from there.
I'm sure you can appreciate that the longer this goes on, the questions will still remain over that. Tom, just interestingly on you and your time at Town, the next permanent manager, that'll be your 7th since you joined the club. Is that disruptive for you, Tom?
Yeah, it is, because we keep fluttering from, like, each manager's got their own thing, like the way that they want to play. So yeah, it's not helped. But I think that in football, you're all, like, even if you've got a new manager or you've got a manager that's been there for 2 years, you're getting judged every single week, every single game. You've got competition in the squad, so you have to prove. It's like the one sport where you literally have to prove yourself probably twice a week, once a week. If you just got Saturday to Saturday, you're always being, like, judged constantly. So whether you've got a new manager who's watching you for the first time, I don't think it really matters too much. But yeah, I think it's just been frustrating, because every time we've, like, got a good manager, that things seem to be going well, something's happened to disrupt that. Yeah, and I think that it's a shame that sometimes when we have started to get going, it just seems to get disrupted. So hopefully, we can get someone in now, or a decision can be made, going back to your last question, whatever the decision is, and we can just get up and running. It's been frustrated. I'm just frustrated that we're left in this, like, 15-game shootout now, 15 or 16 left. Shootout now, where I feel like the last two games or whatever, if we play like that for 40 games, then I'd be pretty confident. But now it's just, it's obviously we're right in amongst it for these last 15 games.
You have shown, though, if we rewind the clock by 12 months, you're in a similar position, and you got out of it then. I'm sure you'll be looking to draw on that experience, won't you, this time around? Yeah,
I think that was, like, where we were in the table, the points that we had, like even the fixtures we had in that last run-in, looked a lot more ominous than now. But so we've got to take confidence from that, and we've been under that pressure before. But we've had our heads around where we are, the reality of it, and we know that we're in a battle. So yeah, we've got a massive end to the season. Like I said, these performances are all well and good, but we've just got to start getting some wins, and that can let everybody kind of build up some confidence.
And it could be a big week and some big wins. 2 home games, playing Sunderland and Hull, who are having good seasons themselves. But as you said, going all the way back to the start and that performance at Southampton, you can certainly take confidence going into those games. Yeah,
I mean, I think perfect. 2 games at home, the way that we're playing with this front foot, we're going to go and get after the teams now. We're going to go and get after them, put them under some real pressure, especially at home. I think we did that away at one of the best teams, but let's see if we can do it at home now against, 2 teams coming here and probably want to come and pick up 3 easy points or whatever. Let's get right after them and go and get these wins as soon as we can, and lift a bit of pressure. And it's just that mentality, isn't it? It's about the mentality that's probably shifted in the last 2 games now, and we see this week as a big opportunity to get some points.
Well, best of luck for it, Tom. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers, Lou. We'll just come to Stephen from We Are Terriers in the room.
Hi, Tom. You sort of touched on it a bit already, saying you've been enjoying the football a bit more the last couple of games. The lads have been enjoying it. I think we saw last season it's important that you are able to enjoy your football to get those results, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think that comes with getting wins and playing well, and players looking good and doing what they're good at. So I'd say that's probably where you see players at their best, you know, when they're doing what they're good at. So I think it does play a big part at every level in football. Confidence is massive. You've seen it even with the biggest players in the world, that when they're confident, things come off. And that, like I said, getting these wins as soon as we can, that'll just lift that pressure and let everybody go out and do what they're good at with a little lighter load on the back.
Does it sort of, when you hear Worthy coming out and saying things like he wants to take the shackles off players and let them play with more freedom, does that automatically sort of shift you into a different mindset as a player?
Yeah, I think obviously everyone's going to try and draw comparisons as to like how it was to before. I think you just got to forget all that and just think that this is how Worthy wants to play. Do you know what I mean? He's got not much time, and he's got to try and just change the mentality of what we were doing before really, really quickly. So, like I said, these clear messages, simple messages, direct messages. That's probably why he keeps saying phrases like that, because he's only got a limited period of time to really instill that in the players. So when we go out there, we know like that shift in mentality is there, and this is how we're going to play, and we're going to get after teams. I think it just sets the tone before we even go out on the pitch then.
I think one of the sort of the keys on Saturday to that performance and last week as well was the sort of the energy, the work rate, the athleticism that was required. I mean, that seems to be something that suits this squad, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is hard.
yeah.
And it is hard when they're all sprinting forward and you look round and there's just one or two of you left with on your halfway line, or sometimes on Saturday, I mean, it was 10-15 yards inside their half. But that's the way that football's going now, and you've got to be able to do that for 90 minutes. We couldn't quite do that for 90 minutes, but it does make for an exciting game. And yeah, it's a big ask. I mean, all the data in that showed on Saturday it was a big effort. But one thing that I've definitely found in this squad compared to squads that I've played with before, like, there's not many teams that will outrun us. Might not be the best, but there's not many teams that will outwork us. Yeah,
I think it's good as well that they've shown the attacking capabilities. You know, the work in the transition has been notably better, and playing, as you say, in the opposition half just allows you to execute that a lot quicker, doesn't it?
Yeah, and obviously, if you win the ball back, you're closer to their goal to quickly go and score. And I think, like I said before, it's kind of just setting that whole attitude, that whole tone from the minute you go out there, that we're going to get after the other team and do everything that we can from the start to get 3 points and get a win, and just let people know that we're in a game. And that's the way it's got to be now, and that's the way that Worthy wants to work.
Have you felt sort of the confidence growing from the past couple of games on the training ground over the past week or two?
I suppose you could say that. It's only been 2 games really. Obviously the game against Sheffield Wednesday was a massive one and a really big win. It was so important. And then, like I said, we're not getting carried away with Saturday. We just know it was a good performance. But like I said, we do need the wins. But it's good to see people with a smile on their face and all those boys in attack. Scoring goals. It's a lot of goals that we've scored in 2 games, so seeing them with a smile on the face and stuff is good.
I think another important factor for any successful side, you had it, you know, when you got to the playoff final, is real competition for places. You've certainly got it at centre back now. You can see it in central midfield, centre forward as well. There's more competition. Does that help raise the levels on the training ground, on the pitch?
Yeah, I think so. It's just another way of doing that, isn't it? It's just another way of like I said, keeping standards high and pushing people every day. You can do it through various ways. It can be the manager, it can be the players, or you can fill a dressing room with good quality players so that every time you're looking around you're thinking, I've got to be on it today. So, but that's the same in football. Like, most of us have grown up through academies and stuff. You're getting players from across Europe since the age of 6 always coming in. It's competition. It's like I said in that first question, every week, every day you're getting judged. So that's just part of football.
I think one of the key players to the style, particularly on Saturday, Brodie Spencer has been sort of phenomenal since he's come back from his loan. How big a future do you think Brodie has?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's that energy, isn't it? And it's that athleticism, and him along with other players bring that, and the way that we're playing will really suit him. So yeah, he's done really well, and I'm really happy for him because he's a good lad.
Does he need much coaching from the more senior players, or is he?
No, not at all. Yeah, he's a really good lad, and he works hard in games. He puts in a real shift, and like you say, he's got good energy. He's a good defender, 1v1, and yeah, it's good to see him getting a run of games and proving what he can do because he's certainly worked hard for it.
Cheers, Tom. Appreciate it.
Cheers, Steve. We'll just come to Leon from the Yorkshire Post.
Hiya, Tom.
Hiya.
Yeah, it was interesting what you're saying there. You're talking about John. Is it fair to say he's sort of uncluttered a few minds, if you want? You know, he's made it simpler, easier to follow that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair way of putting it. Yeah, just very clear messages, not too many messages, probably 2 or 3 points. Identifying what he feels the opposition are weak at, but not totally changing everything that we do for the opposition. More about, like I said before, us having our way of playing before we even step out there. We're turning up at the stadium with a mindset that's getting after the game and going to win.
Yeah, it's like less is more almost, isn't it? You know.
Sometimes, yeah, and just getting people doing what they're good at. You know, I think you've seen like the best in these transitional moments and pressing moments are like Kasumu, Sorba, Josh Karoma, Brody, Radoni, Wilesy, all these lads that can run all day and they've got that energy. Getting them the ball high up the pitch and stuff when they turn it over is what they want and what they thrive off.
Yeah. I mean, psychologically, after what you did at the end of last season, you know, your dressing room came to the fore and everything, and that must hold you in good stead for this period now. The situation is not quite as bad, but you've got it within yourselves. I know it's a different season, but you've still got that to sort of fall back on, haven't you? You know? Yeah,
you can say that we've been through it and we know what the pressure feels like. That's probably one thing that we can say. I think we just can't rely on the teams below us to not catch us up, because I fully expect those teams below us to start winning games. Definitely.
Yeah.
So we've got to try and, rather than rely on them, catch those teams above us and drag a few more into it, and that's what we'll be aiming to do. And we've just got to, like I said, focus on getting those wins as quickly as we can and chasing down the teams above.
I mean, this type of year, I mean, it's coming up to the season. It's coming up to crunch time. If you like, it's a different sort of mentality, isn't it? You know, the sides with the strongest mentality quite often, you know, are the ones smiling at the end. That sort of thing. You've got to enjoy it, I suppose, haven't you? As daft as it sounds, as well. This time, if you can.
I try it. We'll enjoy it when we can be safe, but I don't think you can look too much ahead, because you might look and think, we've got teams in the top 10, and at certain times in the season they might not be playing for anything. So you can't look too far ahead. But I think, as you mentioned, we've got that experience of what it takes. Hopefully we can rely on that. I think first things first, just worry about our performances and the way that we're playing. And if we play the way that we have done in the last 2 games, I'm confident that we can get the wins.
I know you're a sort of, you speak well, you're a thoughtful professional. Have you sort of thought about coaching further down the line? I know hopefully you've got a few years yet, I'm sure.
I'm not too sure yet. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do. Just putting all my time into it. Don't get any easier at my age. So a lot more recovery and maintenance in between the games. So I've got my hands full with that, really. Just trying to play as long as I can.
I was just going to ask you finally, you touched about, you know, dragging teams in, some teams who've maybe not been at this end of the table this season, and then all of a sudden they can find themselves in it. That's part of it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think we know what it can be like, where you almost get lulled into a false sense of security, thinking, we won't get dragged into that, or we've got enough in the dressing room, and before you know it, you're right in it. Whereas I think us, in reality, we've been in this battle now for a long time, and we've accepted we're in this battle. And our mentality is that we're going after wins as soon as possible to get safe and hunt those teams down above us.
Yeah, fingers crossed, Tom. Thanks for talking.
Thank you.
Cheers, Leon. Lastly, we'll just come to Daniel from the University of Huddersfield.
Tom, good to speak to you. I just wanted to ask, you've obviously mentioned the result against Southampton last week. Obviously it started well, but you weren't able to get over the line. You've also mentioned the importance of getting these wins. What do you think that you and the team can do differently tomorrow against Sunderland to make sure you get those 3 points?
I think we've got to start the same way, go about the game the same way, and just tighten up and manage the game a little bit better. Obviously it didn't help with the timing that they scored their first goal. There's not a lot that we could do about that, and I think the timing of that, rather than the fact that they scored, was the most important thing, because being so quick, it gave the whole stadium a lift. But then obviously we've gone ahead again, and I've managed to put one in my own net, which hasn't helped, and it's kind of brought that on again. And just managing those moments, there's been quite a few times this season where I've not managed it well enough. So yeah, but that's down to us, and it's just about that concentration and that focus. Yeah, right until the last second, and you can only let it happen so many times, and it's happened quite a few times now. So we've got to nip it in the bud, and try and keep clean sheets, because I'm confident with the players that we've got attacking that we'll always score.
You've also mentioned the mentality that you guys have. Obviously, last season you pulled off from obviously not the same position, but similar. How important is it for you guys not to drop into that bottom three?
Yeah, no one wants to be in the bottom three, and yeah, like you say, psychologically, it's always difficult once you do get into that. But I think we've just got to focus on, look, next game, get these wins, do our job, worry about ourselves, and we'll be okay. Yeah, we just got to get a couple of wins as soon as we can.
Great, and you've got some new personnel come into the squad as well, who have unfortunately picked up a few injuries as well. Haven't been able to play games. How do experienced people in the team like you help those people come in and sort of make sure they're nicely involved with the squad? And
yeah, it's I think it's one of those where you get all these new players in, and they're here for a reason. They're here to progress the club. They're here to make your squad stronger. There's been a lot of times this season with the injuries and the thinness of the squad that you're looking at the bench, without being disrespectful to like the really young lads that are on there, where you're thinking we could do with some fresh legs or whatever. So we know that these players are important, so it's down to us to make them feel at home, settled as quickly as they can, because we know that it's going to help us. Obviously there's not a lot we can do if they're injured, but yeah, just making them feel involved in it. And I don't know, for example, like me with the Rodinho that signed, all I can do is, from our position, offer him advice on strikers that I've probably faced 8, 9, 10 times that he's never seen before. Just stuff like that. Yeah, just try and make them feel settled and comfortable, and hit the ground running as quick as they can.
Great, thanks very much.
Perfect, thank you very much,
All right.
everybody. Cheers,
Cool. No worries.
Cool. Louis, thanks for your patience. The floor is yours.
Thank you. John, just speaking to Tom, and obviously a defeat's a defeat, but he says over the last 48 hours it's been easier to see the positives from that game down at Southampton. How are you viewing it?
Yeah, exactly the same. I spoke to the players after the game in the dressing room, and I was really clear that I'm just taking all the positives from it. We played against a good team, but I was really proud of the performance that the players did in the game. Disappointed to lose, obviously. It's about winning games, but loads of positives, and that's the mindset we're going into this week.
We've clearly seen from the last 2 games the players executing your game plan, John, regardless of the results. What have you said to them in order to get that change out of them?
I don't know really. We've worked hard on the training pitch and and off field with the analysis work. But I think nothing. Just simple messages, clear instructions, giving players solutions to protect what the opposition may be doing. But ultimately about us and like I say, it's being on the front foot. Putting people in positions where they can really impact the game, and I feel those things have worked for us recently.
And in a way, I guess, going to somewhere like a Southampton, a lot of teams would be guilty of showing them respect. You certainly didn't do that at the weekend. Is that one of the main things as well? Puffing your chest out, we're Huddersfield Town, we don't need to show anyone respect.
Absolutely. I believe in the players. They've shown that, and they showed that for a large part of the game on Saturday. So I've got 100% belief in the players and their abilities and what they can do. And I was just pleased for them that they showed that. The result didn't go our way, but there was loads of encouraging signs.
Team news wise, obviously a trip like that with a long travel back, has everyone come through it okay who was available on the weekend? Yeah,
everyone's come through. No problems there. The championship pretty relentless with midweek games as well, and every game's a challenge and tough game. So, but we're in a fortunate position, I think, with the squad and the squad looking really healthy at the minute.
There's some players, and forgive me, John, it's a bit of a long list, but some players who are missing: Reece, Rodinho, Delano, Helic, one of the centre halves. How are they all doing? They missed out at the weekend.
Yeah, Reece is obviously long term. Helic, he's obviously he's had a significant impact in that QPR game, and he's pushing really hard. He wants to get back. He wants to play. But I think he's finding it a little bit frustrating with that one at the minute. But in terms of other players, Delano, Danny Ward, been out for a long time, but they're back on the grass. Obviously it's going to be a process to get them back up to full speed. But massive positives having those types of players in and around the squad.
And I guess in a way, the January window, you do now have strength in depth, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm in a fortunate position going into the game tomorrow with a healthy squad, a talented squad, I believe, and so we're in a really good position.
Brodie Spencer all okay? I know he came off in the second half. Was that simply tactical or?
No. Brodie was, as with a few others, they emptied the tank, and that's what I asked them to do. And if that's at 70 minutes and they've given everything they've got, then the next player comes on, and that was the case on Saturday with a few of the boys.
Great stuff. In terms of you then, personally, how much have you been enjoying the last couple of weeks?
I've loved it. Absolutely loved it. Love working with the players. It's been fantastic, the response I've had from the supporters, and what a massive role they have to play. Unbelievable support down at Southampton to travel all that way, get behind the players, and I was really pleased that the players gave them a performance to be proud of, and just really looking forward to the game tomorrow. Really want the fans to get behind us like they have done, and really want to make the stadium there a fortress and get that mentality back for home games.
It's a big opportunity, isn't it, this week? Sunderland and Hull, mentioning to Tom, they've got playoff ambitions of their own, haven't they? But you've shown at the weekend you can compete with the very best in the division, and to get back to the John Smith Stadium and hopefully put on a show, that must be mouthwatering for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just excited. I'm raring to go for the game, and I know the players are. They seem really sharp in training. They've been really responsive to everything us as a coaching staff have asked, and so really looking forward to it, really. And I think every game in the Championship, they're all hard. There's no easy games because everyone's fighting for different reasons. So you've just got to take each game on its merit and focus on how we can impact it.
What about off the field? How often are you in communication with the likes of Jake and Mark and Kevin over the US?
Regular. The communication's really good. They've been a massive support to me in this period. So I'm really grateful, and that's just helped me because they've given me that support. It's allowed me to have a platform to support the players.
And have you had any further updates on timescales when an appointment can be expected?
I don't think not in terms of timescales, but I've been pretty adamant throughout. I'm here to help as much as possible, and I'm just going to take each game as it comes in terms of what I'm asked to do, and obviously the game tomorrow I'll be taking. Don't get me wrong, preparations are in place for Saturday, but that's just because that's what happens at a professional football club. Everything carries on as normal, and everyone's working behind the scenes to make sure game by game and week by week that everything's in place to go.
And if hypothetically they turned to you and said, John, we want you to take it till the end of the season, would that be something you'll be interested in?
Like I said, I think I made it really clear that where I see my future within the club, and at the minute I just want to help.
Fair enough. You knew I had to ask that. Sunderland, then, we mentioned them. They're going well this season. What have you made to them? They've also changed manager, but as we say, they're going for the playoffs. It'll certainly be a test, but Town got the better of them earlier this season. Do you look any into that, John, at all?
Not really. Definitely, when I look at the opposition, always looking at their previous games, and so we know what to expect. But always, my focus is on us and how we getting the players in the right positions where I think they can cause problems.
Brilliant. Well, best of luck for it. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks, Louis. We'll come to Stephen in the room next from We Are Terriers.
Hi, John. Just to go back to team news, is Rodinho Balka in contention for tomorrow night?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I mean, it's good. Got plenty of options at centre back now, haven't you?
I feel there's loads of options all over the pitch. It's a great position to be in.
Yeah. We've been without Jaheim Headley for a while. Is he at all close to a return?
I think James a little bit further behind some of the other guys. I think a couple of weeks or so. I'd like to think that he'd be on his way back into training.
Okay. And recently you mentioned that's a long term. How long term are we looking?
Well, when I say long term, probably that was a little bit exaggeration. I think around the 6 weekish mark. I think, but like I said, I'll leave that to the professionals.
Okay, thank you for that. Speaking of competition, you've had Pat Jones in your squad. I mean, he's been out for a while. He's had his injury problems, but he is, as you know better than anyone, a player with a lot of potential. Do you think we could see him playing a bigger part as the season goes on?
I hope so. I think he's a talented player. I've worked with him really closely over the last 5 years, so I'm well aware of his potential, and he's got some extreme attributes that can definitely impact Championship games, in my opinion. But we have to tread carefully with him in terms of he's been really unfortunate over the last couple of seasons with injuries, and so we've got to get that right and make sure we manage him correctly.
What do you think he can bring to the side? What are those attributes of his?
I think he's got electric pace. I think he showed that when he just in the game on Saturday, when I think he squared up Walker Peters a couple of times and went past him, and I think that's quite a unique talent to have. So yeah, like I said, he's one with potential. We need to get him back on a regular basis in terms of training and building that match fitness up as well.
We were talking to Tom Lees earlier, and he was saying about how the players are enjoying the style of football that you've implemented. Do you think it's important for the players that they are enjoying their football? Do you think that helps bring about the positive results?
Absolutely. I think it's like anybody in any work in life. If you enjoy what you do, then you get the best out of people, and that's what. It's not just me. As a group of staff, we try to do. And at the minute, that's it's given us lots of positives on the pitch.
What are you expecting from Sunderland tomorrow night?
Good team, young team. I think they've got some good individuals. That's it. Every game, like I said, every game is a challenge, and we won't tune it any different to the previous 2 games.
Something we talked about for a while that perhaps you hadn't seen was getting Town scoring goals from all over the pitch. We have seen that, lots of different players on the score sheet in different positions. Even had David Kasumi scoring from wing back the other day. Is that something you've stressed to the lads that you want to see? Is that part of the game plan? Is get more players, different types of players on the score sheet?
Absolutely. I think it's, for me, it's you have to get bodies in the box to score goals, and people have to be engaged to do that, and people have got to have a willingness to sprint to make up the distances, and that's something that we've been working on and been really pleased with over the last couple of games.
Fantastic. That's all from me. Best of luck for tomorrow. Cheers.
Thank you, Steve. We'll go to Leon on Zoom next, please.
Right. Hiya, John.
Hi there.
I was just wondering, you've got a way of playing your head at Huddersfield Town way, if you like.
Yeah.
How would you sort of turn that into words? What would you, what is it?
I think it's, for me, it's trying to be on as front foot as possible, be as aggressive as we can to win the ball as high up the pitch as possible, the close to the opposition's goals. I'm a big believer in reactive pressure in terms of if you do make a mistake or you lose the ball in the attacking half, that we win it back as quickly as possible to create more opportunities in and around their goals. And some simple things about passing forward and running forward. And I think if you mix that in with people's ability to want to fight and show they care, I think that's how I see the game.
And it's not being scared to make a mistake as well, that sort of thing.
100%, and I said that when I talked about taking the shackles off, being brave, ultimately taking risks in the final third. That's what it's about: committing bodies, but having good balance behind the ball and being able, with a good structure, to be able to do that. And I think those are some of the things that we're trying to get over to the players.
Well, there's sort of, when you were sort of growing up, watching players, or any that stuck in your mind, and you sort of influences, that sort of thing. I mean, you were watching Town when you were a lad, that sort of thing. And I don't know really. Obviously, I've been fortunate. I've seen a lot of Huddersfield Town teams over the years. I think for me, it's more just how I see the game, how we coach within the academy as well. So it's not something. It's something that I believe in, and a way of playing, and it links very strongly to how Mark, Jake, and Kevin see the game as well. And that sort of reconnection, if you like, you got the sort of first game, the Sheffield Wednesday game, and you built on the Southampton, albeit didn't get the points, but a lot of good sort of PR about the performance, and whenever you do, it gets passed on. The management to whoever it is. It's it's important that you've done that, isn't it? Really, reconnected, and the fans, and you're all as one. And these, it's another building block tomorrow in that respect, isn't it?
100%. And like I said, yes, we didn't get the result, but I think people saw some real encouraging positive signs, and I, like I said, I was just really proud of the players, and trying to any game of football, if the fans want to be excited, they want to go to a football game where there's goals and it's enjoyable, and people and players are giving everything they've got, and yes, that was a bit of the case at Southampton. Great game for a neutral. But ultimately it's about winning games as well, so it's getting that formula right and that balance right, really.
Best of luck, John. Thanks for your time. Thank you.
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you, Leon. We're going to finish off with Louis from the University of Huddersfield.
Hi, John. Nice to see you.
You too.
Huddersfield haven't done a double over Sunderland in the Football League since 1961. So how much could a result from this game boost the squad's confidence for the rest of the season?
I think every game we go into, we're trying to win, and like I said earlier, I think the home games are really important, and we have to create, with the fans who play a massive role in that, of getting behind the players, and ultimately it's every home game we want to make it a fortress, and we're looking to win the game.
So obviously you've been in charge for 2 games now so far. What have you learned from the squad in those 2 games that you can take into tomorrow?
I've learned that the squad are really open. They want to work. They want to work hard. And I think I've just been really impressed with the whole attitude to what we've asked of them, really.
Now, Town have, as you say, taken the shackles off, scoring 8 goals in the past 2 games. However, Sunderland do have one of the best defensive records in the league. So what is the message to the players for tomorrow? And Is there any change in approach as opposed to facing a relegation team like Sheffield Wednesday?
I don't think so. Like I said, you have to respect every team you come up against, whether that's Sheffield Wednesday, Southampton, or Sunderland. But ultimately, it's how we approach the game, and if we approach the game in the right frame of mind, which I'm sure the players will do, it's down to us then.
And obviously, one of the star performers for the season, but especially in the past 2 games, is Sorba Thomas, who performed very well, and he performed very well against Southampton as well. How important of a role will he play tomorrow and for the rest of the season?
I think he's a big player, isn't he? And he's shown that in the last couple of games that I've taken, and prior to that. And he's a positive player. He's a confidence player, and he's got my full backing and support to attack and be creative in those moments and play with that freedom, with a smile on his face. And if he does that, you're getting the best of Sorba Thomas, which is what we all want to see.
And finally, if results do go your way in this week, Town could finish the night tomorrow in 18th place. How important is it to create that breathing space between the rest of the bottom of the table and the relegation?
Yeah, for me, I'm just focusing, taking each game in its own merit, and just focusing on giving the best performance and result that we can get from the game, really, and then the rest will take care of itself.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Thank you, everyone. We'll see you all tomorrow night.
Thanks
Cheers,
for your
guys.
time, John.